So, good day again, everyone. Should I say morning for here in New Zealand? So, it's been quite a bit of time, about a year or more, since the uh, British branch, should I say, the um, London branch of um, and everyone else around the world there has been, but that's where the headquarters kind of were, right? Because they've locked up good old full colon Mark hyphen Kujon full colon Christopher full stop. It is what it is. Unfortunately, well, it is what it's not really, but as the conventional language goes. And there has been a judicial notice in place. By now, a lot of people would have come across it. I'm not sure if, the almost bureaucratic, I don't know, push, was the best approach to share the knowledge with the world and things of this nature. As I've learned about cluster B personality traits and disorders. Yeah, it doesn't add up. Sometimes what is it? You can bring a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. Uh, so I'm going to share just off the top of my mind um, some of the things that are within the judicial notice. This is not official. Is not to pick at people that, this is not to push this onto people so that they use it in that way. It's not to force people, right? It's just to bring some knowledge, and maybe it helps people, especially in terms of some of the most common used words that on the face of it we use it, and there's many other words that we all know about that generally mean something else, but we use them in such a way so that has a different meaning, isn't it? So, for example, out of the judicial notice, you have the words black and white, right? So, first of all, I find it very peculiar, especially, well, for both black and white, how people use this to try to create some sense of um, tribe or sense of belonging, which that in and of itself, it's not a bad thing. And if you want to stand together for some genuine, good reason, not for lies, and and it doesn't matter who you are. You could be from different places, so on and so forth, but find a genuine reason that you want to stand for, like how people used to do. I don't know, if you stand against violence, right? At the end of the day, even the LGBTQ is aware of they're genuine, right? What was it? I seen a recent video. People are starting to get into that, and how it's not so much, for the rights of genuine gay people, and there's all sorts of weirdos, and I don't know, just stuff that they don't really have a point on, stuff that is not genuinely an essential and a genuine way of life that they have, that is being oppressed and suppressed. And so they're just doing it just to create popularity, just to how you got clickbaiting and all of this sort of stuff. So that's not good. It's not genuine, and you're not gonna go too far with that, because people, after some time, they come to see it for what it is, and you'll be disappointed. Anyways, so back to those couple of words. So you have the words and how people use it, just in terms of layman's terms, and the common way of using those words. And then you have the description, right? The definitions within law dictionaries. So I believe out of Black's Law Dictionary, and there's a few others, black means with lack of law, even lack of legislation, if you like. And to support this claim, look at, for example, just out of the gaming industry, you have a Call of Duty Black Ops. Now, what does that mean? So you got modern warfare, you got normal warfare, right, up front, which is, even though war is not really, shouldn't really be, lawful, because it's with trespassing on each other. But at least you've got two sides that agree to trespass on each other and compete on who's going to win. So to some degree, even within a trespassing venue, if you like, within a consensual trespassing venue, that is lawful, right? Just how some people agree to go inside a boxing ring and box it out, or kickbox it out, or UFC, MMA it out. But when it comes to using it as, so what people should really be, the words that people should really be using, and they have been doing this correctly in the United States of America for quite some time. And you see the genuine communities and stuff still use it. So they don't call themselves the black, they call themselves the African American. Yeah. And why is that correct? Because it gives credit to the territory that their bloodline is from, right? So you give credit, you name, you support the place where you originally come from. Isn't that correct? And imagine all the people that can ride on the wagon of your community that might not be from that territory, if you're going to use just general words. Right. So, and how many more communities, and then if they are to have something like so they can still have pretty much everything that they have today, but they just would have to have each different community, and then together, if they want to stand for a bigger cause together, right? So that's how it should work. Just how you've got many different cities, many different territories, but then you can stand together as a nation, as a country, right? It's the same thing. So then in Black's Law Dictionary, and I think a few others as well, white pertains to the laws of South Africa. So I don't know. And to the one to the ones that feel very like Caucasianly proud or whatever, how does that make you feel knowing that to some degree you're giving credit not to the South African nation, but to the South African rules and regulations or laws or something like that? That's what it is at the end of the day. Because people don't, because from a main part, people generally don't know about that, and the general meaning for people is not that. It doesn't change the fact that we are moving forward uh, and coming up even with new terminology and stuff like that when we haven't really gotten down to the simplification and sorted things out correctly in terms of knowledge, and then move forward with new terminology and stuff like that. I mean, you haven't really deciphered or simplified and gotten the meaning of, or you can build upon something that you know, right? So that's all there is to it. And this applies to anything. Why, like, I mean, if I was to play by those games, I would be Olive. They called me Olive Skin. And then now I'll get into that. So, in terms of law, it's unlawful to perform on coloring of the law. What does that mean? That means taking something that is well defined, or more like that has some meaning, and then using that to try to like adding adjectives to things, you know. So you have things that are basic, and then instead of using that and just that, so there isn't any confusion, then you start using things in all manner of descriptive ways, so that it suits your agenda to get specific outcomes. So it's part of some form of trickery and deception. A lot of people don't know this, right? And if they see that it serves some form of functions, whether that is correct or not, it becomes popular, right? Just like if cheating becomes popular, if lying becomes popular, if becoming a psychopath or a malignant narcissist becomes popular, and people achieve doing that sort of stuff, people do it more and more and more. It becomes viral, you know? But it doesn't mean it's correct. So that's on the coloring of the law. And, remember, black and white are not colors. And there's many shades of black. This is why people should give credit to the nations where they're from and the territories where they're from. You know, and then still, so you could be territorial, but still have a sense of nation. You could have a sense of yourself, then you could have a sense of your community, and then you can still have a sense of your country, right? Especially nowadays when it's meant to be all about social credit. Well, who are you giving credit to? You know, the European Union, the all manner of states that they're like, it's paperwork. So you're going to give credit to the paperwork, or you're going to give credit to the people and the land that you can feel, you know. So that's that on that one. There's many other ones. the judicial notice that they've done doesn't even go into what I'm about to say, but just so that I don't list all the words, at the end of the day, one simple rule to use is Google or whatever other search engines you use or something. And if you're unsure about a word, if you can't parse words, some of the simple rules being the prefixes mean no. Just like you can have a girlfriend or you can have an ex-girlfriend, meaning no girlfriend, right? So you can go on Google and look for the meaning rather than the definition of words. So if it's definition, so you got something that has a finish that is finite, like a meaning, and then you can have a definition, meaning like there's no end to it. Like we could write an entire book on a word, to try to, you can try, but you're not going to achieve to bring any closure on a word if you perform on definition of it, right? It's like writing get everyone on the planet to describe, to talk about their interpretation of a word. It could mean something to you. For someone else, it could mean the total opposite. To someone else, it could mean both ways or whatever. It could be an endless, meaning if it's going to be interpreted by different people instead of the correct meaning, the genuine meaning. So, yeah, what the judicial notice doesn't go into, but something that helps me keep grounded and make sense of some things that don't really make sense, is that you got law, which doesn't always pertain to the legislation. So law is all pretty much based on trespassing and how it's unlawful to trespass and how it's lawful to come to meet both the terms and to meet the terms and conditions of both parties or multiple parties, right? Unilateral meaning one-sided, bilateral meaning two sides, two-way street, trilateral, so on and so forth. How many different sides are being used to create something that is with the lack of trespassing. So you could have a hexagon, or you could have 6 lines that cross each other and whatnot. So yeah, that's an easy way to look at things, especially people that are doing, I don't know, it could be someone that has a family or a little company, and you're trying to create rules that are lawful, right? And it can be very difficult if specific legislations have been made so that you trespass on others. That's why your solution is to use lack of trespassing and maybe use more private venues where there is less trespassing. For example, if you got to perform some specific jobs, some specific tasks, if you have the opportunity to go and use a yard, right, rather than performing out on the street and having to put out cones where you could potentially trespass on others using the road, well, ain't that a solution? It certainly is viable and is a solution. And I think I'm going to end it with the word smart, which a lot of us use it as if it be the word intelligent. Intel, Intel inside. That's cool back in the day. So you got intelligent, which that means what it means. Like it's a good word. And then you got smart. And for those of us that speak English that is more of the British style, and especially the um, slang sort of thing. So we all know that, when children and teenagers are being cheeky, again, that's cheeky. Cheeky monkey, that is being smart, and what does that mean? It means that you are basically being ironic or things of this nature, yeah, and it can even be harmful to some degree, like bullying, right? And that's what it is. That's what it is. Otherwise, it'd be intelligent, So, yeah. I presume all of these words that I've mentioned and many others, they could be used by certain organizations and people, for the common meaning, right? If they don't know. And then others will be using it on purpose to appeal to your subconscious or to create consent to, for example, you could have organizations that call people white and they just pertain to people that are quote unquote Caucasian as it be, or whatever, just trying to say how you kind of look, right? Which is still not true, because each one of us has a slightly different shade if you're going to get that accurate. I presume even out of the same family and so on and so forth, no one's got the exact tone, right? Like we're not clones. Anyways, and then you'd have people that do that to try to walk you into performing on the South African laws, right? So that's where it's at. Just as how you could have the law that is for your private, living, or you could be held to the standards, to the corporate standards, right? So there you have it. I'm going to leave it there, and I can bring some more of the knowledge that I've learned, and I've got a whole bunch of teachings that I can get into out of the documents that I've got and stuff. But yeah, like if the horse don't want to drink, I'm not going to drag that horse to that river. No joke. Like I'm all about consent here. Cheers.